Hello, everybody, and welcome back to another episode of the Toilets to Titles 2022 Draft Class Review. This is Joe. Thanks for joining me. Today, I'm going to be reviewing the offensive line, the top 10 of the offensive line, I guess, candidates, draft picks for the 2022 class. Um, it was originally supposed to be this episode was supposed to be offensive tackle only. However, Andrew Campy, if you're watching Andrew Campy, he actually made a nice mistake. Andrew creates the title pages and does all of our graphics basically here at Toilets to Titles. Um, I asked him to create a title page for me. It was supposed to be offensive tackle, and he created one, sent it to me, and it said offensive line, and he's in Australia, so there's a 14-hour difference. And at first, when I saw it, I was like, "Oh, it looks great. The image is great. It's got Evan Neal in there. It just looked really nice." And later on last night, when I went to review it again, I noticed that it said offensive line, but it actually works out perfectly because combining the top tackles, guards, and the one really good center in this draft, the top 10, all 10 of these guys could conceivably, at least the top eight, but I think the top 10 could conceivably go in the first round. It sounds crazy, but these 10 guys will not make it past the second round, guaranteed. This 2022 offensive line class is even better than last year's. And last year's draft class in 21 was really good. In 2022, it's even better, it's even deeper, and it's top heavy as well. There's so many good tackles, good guards, and one really good center to review. And I do think that at least the top seven, maybe the top eight players will go in the first round. But like I said, it's conceivable that the top 10 could. It's crazy, but we're going to see this is a really, really deep draft class overall. Pick your position, except for maybe quarterback and maybe one other position. This is the deepest draft class ever. So I'm actually I did my review. Wrapped up my review this morning of the final players I really wanted to look into, and I got to tell you, I think this is going to be my favorite review that I'm doing this entire series, the offensive line. So, and I am going to come back and do like the next 5 or 10 offensive linemen down the road after I cover every single position. Um, but so eventually, I'm going to do the next 11 to 20 offensive linemen down the road. But right now, we're just doing the top 10, at least my opinion of the top 10. And before we get into the content, let me just go through the bells and whistles. Please don't forget to hit that like button, subscribe, give us that 5-star Apple review because we deserve it. Where you can find the show: Apple Podcast, YouTube, Podbean, Spotify, and Facebook, where we have two pages. That is Toilets to Titles, and the other one is When a Family Breaks, which is our Facebook page dedicated to the trading of sports memorabilia. Also, you can go to patreon.com/toilets and titles to learn how you can further support the show. And we have our own website, toiletsandtitles.com. It has all of our videos, articles, tons of fantasy and NFL and NCAA and draft content. Check it out. It's a lot of fun. We have like 15 contributors here at Toilets to Titles, and some of us create videos like I do. Others write articles. So we've got people just contributing all different types of content, football related. So check it out. It's a lot of fun. All right, guys, let's dive into the content. I want to try to keep this video under 30 minutes if possible. Evan Neal. Become very familiar with this name if you are not. He, for a long time, has been the consensus number one offensive lineman in this draft, and he could conceivably easily go number one, number one overall pick. That is. Don't be surprised, given that it doesn't appear that there are any quarterbacks that are going to go number one as of right now. Malik Willis is shooting up the boards after his really good performance in the Senior Bowl week. So I think Malik Willis is going to be the number one overall pick at the quarterback position over Matt Corral or Corral, however you say his last name, and Kenny Pickett. I think it's going to be Malik Willis, and I think he's got a shot now to go number one because when a team really wants or really believes in a quarterback to be their franchise for a player who can be their franchise quarterback, possibly a decent chance of it, they're going to do whatever they have to get that quarterback. So I think Malik Willis has a decent chance now of being the number one overall pick. Sounds crazy compared to a few weeks ago. Not crazy anymore. But Evan Neal could also conceivably go number one overall. Offensive tackle out of Alabama. This dude is a behemoth. 6'7", 360 pounds. He is known as being an immovable object. He's big. He's got a long frame. He's incredibly strong. And for a guy his size, he is athletic and he plays fast for his size too. I I don't think he plays fast, but for a dude this big, he plays fast. And I'll put it this way, he plays fast enough, okay? But his real thing is his real strength is strength. And like I said, he's immovable. So you're not going to bull rush this guy. If you're lucky, you don't get pancaked. But he also gets out. He's athletic enough and mobile enough to get out to the second level. That is the linebackers. He explodes out of his stance. Uh, I think weight is a concern, and from the just a lot of the reading that I've done, when I do these reports, I watch a little of video. I watch a little video, but I really try to read like three, four, five sources in terms of scouting reports on these players. And I think with some of the other scouting reports, they had weight concern issues as well. I do too. I see Evan Neal. I'm just looking at his attributes in terms of his size and his weight, and I'm thinking Mekhi Becton, who's the Jets' left tackle as of right now. He was drafted 2 years ago, high in the first round, and right now he's put on more weight, and that's he may lose his starting job on the Jets, or at least as left tackle. He might be moved to right tackle, but he's in danger of losing his starting job. So the weight does concern me. But as of right now, Evan Neal is the consensus number one overall offensive lineman. Don't be surprised if that changes. Don't be surprised if that changes. Don't be surprised if Charles Cross winds up going ahead of him, who we'll get to in a little bit. Okay, Kenyon Green, offensive guard out of Texas A&M, 6'4", 325 pounds. This guy is a great technician. And all the guys we're going over right now, these top 10 guys, are ready to start tomorrow in the NFL, wherever they're drafted. They're going to start somewhere on that offensive line. Tomorrow, if they were drafted today, they can start tomorrow. Of course, everyone has to be polished to some degree or another, but all 10 of these guys can be starting. They will be starting wherever they're drafted this year. Kenyon Green, this guy is as polished a product as you're going to get. He's a great technician. He keeps his leverage low, his body low, his leverage is low. It allows him to get great leverage on his opponent. He's got great handwork. He's got long arms. So he's usually getting his arms and his hands, I should say, his hands on his opponent first. Um, he's really good at moving his hands too, adjusting his hands when he needs to. He's violent, he's strong, he's athletic, got a great first punch. This is everything you're looking for in a guard. And this guy, and you're going to see a common theme with all of these players for the most part. These guys all play hard, they play violently, they play till the end of the play, until the whistle and beyond. Kenyon Green will drive you into the ground. And if the whistle isn't blown, he may just pancake you. He may just like flop on top of you. Like he wants to punish you on every single play. And you have to love that in an offensive lineman. That's what you want. He's a good pass protector, an even better run blocker. But don't get me wrong, he's a good pass protector as well. You want Kenyon Green. I love this guy. I love this guy. Absolutely love him. Now, my personal favorite tackle in this draft is Charles Cross, only given that Evan Neal's weight scares me, in that it can become a problem for him. Um, Charles Cross is definitely much smaller. I mean, he's 6'5". He's got great height, but he's 305 pounds. He is athletic. He is polished. He's got excellent footwork. He mirrors his opponents well. He's great with stunts. This guy is as um, day one ready as you're going to find. I think the most day one ready tackle actually as you're going to find. He's great with stunts, which not all offensive tackles can do. Um, or even most like high ranking offensive tackles who go early in the draft, they oftentimes it takes them time, either a year, maybe 2 years sometimes, to learn how to work stunts, to work with their guard. They have to work in tandem with their guard on stunts. And a stunt is, if you're not aware, is where like a defensive edge and a defensive tackle, maybe you throw a linebacker in there, they're kind of like crisscrossing, instead of going straight at their opponent on the offensive line, they're kind of crisscrossing, trying to mix things up there. And, where you might have a blitzer coming off the edge at the same time. And, these guys, the offensive tackle and the guard, you need to be able to work together in tandem smoothly. Um, and to know who's picking up who, as you've got like three different guys coming at the two of you, and that's not always easy to do at all. And but Charles Cross is awesome at it. This guy is polished. He's finished. He's like he's a diamond. He's like a polished, finished diamond. He's got great change of direction. There's not much more I can say about him. He is my favorite offensive lineman in the draft, and I wouldn't be shocked if he goes number one overall out of the offensive linemen. I don't think he'd actually. I think out of these offensive linemen, if someone's actually going to be taken the number one pick, it would be Evan Neal. But I think if Evan Neal doesn't go number one, I wouldn't be surprised if Charles Cross is off the board first out of all these offensive linemen. Okay, let's move on to the top center of the draft, Tyler Linderbaum, offensive center out of Iowa, 6'3", 289 pounds. So this guy is light. Okay, he's light, but he's extremely athletic. He explodes out of his stance. Um, he plays awesome play speed. He's 289 pounds. So that's small for an offensive lineman. Awesome. But so he's light on his feet. He plays fast. He gets to the second level as good as anyone. So when I say the second level, I'm talking about linebackers. He's a tough finisher. This guy, and there's another common theme with these offensive linemen. More and more every year, it seems like more and more of them have a wrestling background or maybe jujitsu background. Tyler Linderbaum has a wrestling background. I don't know if he was a wrestler in college, but he was a wrestler in high school, and that seems to be like a more uh, uh, predominant theme amongst offensive linemen these days coming out of college. And Linderbaum is really good. Here's the thing. And this is what scares me about this. This is a very thin class when it comes to center, and Linderbaum is the best one out of them all. The only thing that scares me is he may only be a scheme fit. He may not be ideal for every single. Like I don't know how good he's going to be at a power run scheme. Like he may have to play like it's like a West Coast offense like San Francisco 49ers, when they're all about motion and they're getting like their offensive line, you know, don't running to the right, blocking to the left. And that's what he would definitely excel at. A power run scheme where you're just kind of going straight forward for the most part, um, that might not suit him. So, he might, like, again, he might be scheme dependent, but he's a really good player. He goes for the right system. He's going to be awesome. 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 Okay. Another personal favorite of mine, Akeem Ekwonu. He's offensive tackle slash offensive guard out of North Carolina State. This guy is versatile. I love this guy. And here's another guy who, given his really good versatility in that he's both good at guard and tackle, I could see him going outside chance. I could see him being the first offensive lineman taken off the board. I don't think so. I'm just saying I think it's a realistic outside chance. 6'4", 320 pounds. This guy's got nice size. He's nice size. He really does. He's a violent, nasty finisher. Again, common theme with this draft class, at least the top 10. These dudes are finishers. They play to the whistle and beyond. He's athletic. He gets to the second level very well. He played both left tackle and left guard at North Carolina. He's probably going to be a guard. Here's what I love about this guy. He's going to be, I think, a very successful guard in the NFL. But I think he could also be a pretty good tackle. And even if you already have, say, two good tackles, you get this guy. He's going to be a day one starter at guard. And say one of your tackles go down, he could be the swing. He could be the swing tackle. I think he could wind up playing admirably at left tackle and certainly right tackle. But he's going to be an awesome guard. So this guy, I I love what this guy can bring to an offensive line. Because, like I said, I think just to reiterate his strengths, what he brings to the table. I think this guy is a day one starting guard, and even better if you have two tackles already and one goes down, he could fill in that tackle spot, and you wouldn't lose much. I love this guy. Great, great player, man. Great player. Okay, Trevor Penning, offensive. Oh, by the way, Ekwonu making a name for himself at the Senior Bowl. Trevor Penning, another guy making a name for himself at the Senior Bowl week. Offensive tackle out of Northern Iowa, 6'6", 330 pounds, strong, violent, and nasty. explosive first step, decent mover. I'm laughing because I'm thinking about a clip that I saw from the Senior Bowl where I think he took this blitzing linebacker and just tossed this dude like with one arm, just tossed him to the ground like a sack of potatoes. I mean, just made him look silly. But anyway, explosive first step. He's a decent mover. He's a big dude. He's 6'6", 330 pounds. He's like nimble. He's nimble on his feet. Flips his hips well to mirror the pass rush. He's got great grip strength. He's very, very strong. He plays angry. Again, common theme with this draft class, the top 10. This dude plays angry. Any team winds up with this guy, you're gonna love him. You're gonna love this guy. I love him. If my Giants drafted him, we need offensive line help all over the place except for left tackle. I'd love to have this guy on my team. I love him, and he was a standout. He was a standout at this recent Senior Bowl week. Okay, here's another guy. Now I think let's see, Neal, Green, Cross, Linderbaum, Ekwonu, and Penning. I think these guys. You know what? And the next guy, Nicholas Petit-Frere. I believe it's pronounced Frere. Nicholas Petit-Frere. Um, he is the seventh player we're covering right now. I think these top seven, including Nicholas Petit-Frere, are going to be gone in the first round. I think Petit-Frere is going to go back into the first round, anywhere from like 25 to 32. This guy's really good. I love this guy. You should watch interviews with this guy. He's he's this is the type of guy. Petit Frere and Zion Johnson, Sean Ryan, and Lecitus Smith, who I'm getting all these guys I'm getting to in a little bit. Watch interviews on these guys. These guys are going to go into an interview with general managers, head coaches, and they're going to blow these players are going to blow their socks off because they're really, really impressive guys. Besides being awesome athletes, they're very impressive young men. I really liked all of them a lot. Nicholas Petit Frere is going to be, I think he's going to be a player who's going to walk into meetings with general managers, head coaches. He's going to blow their socks off. I love this guy. He's a really good player. Out of Ohio State, offensive tackle, 6'5", 315 pounds. He's athletic. He's a lateral mover. This guy can move. He's a big dude who can move. And 315 pounds isn't all that big for an offensive tackle, but he's strong. He's smooth and light on his feet, covers ground. He's a smart player. He's effective in both the run and pass blocking. He's got an explosive first step. That's another common theme with all these top players in this draft. Explosive first step. And he's got really good hand placement. This guy's a nice technician. I like him a lot. And I think he's a really, really safe pick. I don't think he doesn't have, I don't think the ceiling as some of the other tackles we just, um, we just covered, but he's got a really nice floor. And I think his ceiling is really good. This is a dude I think you could roll out. I think ideally at right tackle, and I think he played right tackle at Ohio State. I think you can roll him out to right tackle tomorrow, and you'd be completely fine. Smart, smart player. I love this dude. He's gonna wow the general managers. General managers, I'm telling you, I really like him a lot. Okay, Zion Johnson, another guy who's making waves at the Senior Bowl this week, offensive guard out of Boston College. Boston College, I like what they produce to the NFL in terms of offensive line talent, and Zion Johnson is the newest one. 6'2", 314 pounds. Again, violent player. He's also versatile. He can play effectively in the gap and zone schemes. Remember what I said about Linderbaum before? I believe they can just play really, and that's what I meant. Like guys, the offensive linemen running out across, to the right or to the left. Those are zone schemes. Like that's what San Francisco runs, and other teams too. But San Francisco is always the one that comes to mind for me when I'm thinking of zone schemes. But Zion Johnson can do both effectively. I personally think he's better gap like straightforward power running gap offensive lineman, but he's going to be effective in zone as well. Versatile enough to do it. I think he's better like most guards, like most high end guards. He's better at run blocking than pass blocking, but his pass blocking is fine. It's fine. Um, but he's an even better run blocker, and he's a nasty run blocker. He gets to the second level. You're running behind this guy. He's very effective at getting to the second level. That is the linebackers. He plays low, so he's got good leverage. He gets good leverage against his opponent. He's got long arms, so he's usually getting his hands on the defensive lineman first. He's a solid anchor. Again, he plays low, plays with a solid anchor. He's not easy to move. Um, and I wrote here in the notes a start at the Senior Bowl. That's supposed to say a star at the Senior Bowl. I don't know if he was a star in the game itself, but during the week he was a star in all the practices. His name was consistently coming up, and I had already had my eye on him before Senior Bowl week. But it seems like it appears that what happened at Senior Bowl week, his performance, just confirmed what I already felt about this guy, and I think he's another guy who could wind up going in the back end of the first round. I definitely think the first seven are first rounders. The first seven are first rounders, but Zion Johnson could squeak in there too. Sean Ryan, here's another guy you want to watch. You want to watch this guy's interview. Offensive tackle, UCLA, 6'5", 320 pounds. This dude is powerful. He plays nasty. He's got a large frame, flexible, athletic, active feet, great grip strength, rarely gets pushed around, great hand placement and movement. I'm just reading my notes that I already put in the bar down here. I love this guy. I love this guy. He's got a really, really nice floor, nice high floor. Um, I love this guy. Watch interviews with him. He's just a great character, great personality, type of person who's gonna come in, I think, be an instant contributor to your offensive line and a great contributor personality wise um, to your locker room. I love this guy a lot, and he plays nasty. He really does. I give him. I love this guy. I really do. Nice size, 6'5", 320 pounds. I think he was right tackle as well at UCLA. I think I could be wrong. I could be misremembering, but I believe ideally he's going to be a right tackle. But this guy is athletic, so don't be surprised if he plays left tackle as well in the NFL. He's a good one. This guy is a keeper. Okay, my last one, Lecitus Smith, offensive guard, Virginia Tech, out of Virginia Tech, 6'3", 320 pounds, 321 pounds. Again, aggressive, athletic, mauler, good hands and feet. He does everything well, or at least well enough, but not great. Like I say here, I don't think he's ever going to be an overall great guard. Well, you know what? I'm wrong. I think this guy is going to be well-rounded in everything where it will add up to being a great guard. I think that's his ceiling. I don't think he's going to be an excellent mauler in the run game. He's a good mauler. That's why I have it down here. But I'm projecting to the NFL. I think he's going to be a good road grader for the run game. I think he'll be more than good enough in pass protection. Um, and he's another really guy who I find to be impressive just in the interviews. I really like him a lot, and I love his aggression. I love his athleticism, and you add it all up for him. I think he's got the ability to be a great guard. Just that he's going to do everything very soundly. So, Lecitus Smith, he was my um, 10th top offensive lineman in this draft. Um, and again, these last three, Zion Johnson, guard out of Boston College, Sean Ryan, tackle out of UCLA, and Lecitus Smith, guard out of Virginia Tech. I think these three are most likely going to be second round picks, but don't be shocked at all um, if one or all three of them wind up in the first round. I don't think that's going to happen, but I do think you have a minimum of seven offensive linemen going in the first round of this draft. And I have I think there's going to be eight. I don't know if it's going to be Zion Johnson, Sean Ryan, or Lecitus Smith, but I do think there will be an eighth one in there at least in the first round this year. But anyway, that's my review of this offensive line class for the top 10. I am going to do another video down the road where I'm going to cover probably, in my opinion, the next like 11, number 11 to 20 in terms of my ranking for the offensive linemen. That'll be a little bit down the road, but I am going to do that. This is a great offensive line class, really impressive. All right, before I go, guys, here we go. Twitter handles for me and all of my colleagues here at Toilets to Titles. Follow all of us. It's a great crew to work with. Really, really talented crew. Great group of people to work with. I have a lot of fun with them all. Please follow everyone on Twitter. Um, and don't forget to hit that like button, subscribe, hit that bell, give us that 5-star Apple review because we deserve it. Anyway, guys, I'm out of here. Have a great night. I'll be back with my next review very soon. Take care and have a great weekend. Bye.